Welcome back, everybody. Episode 63 of Kane's Local. It's playoff time. We're going to deep dive into the Kane's Devils around the league and much more coming up next. All right, Kyle, we'll let you swing away here. You're our playoff guru. Lead us down the path.
Guys, it's the best frickin' time of the year. It goes playoff hockey, Christmas, maybe birthdays. I don't know, but it's the greatest time of the year. It's upon us. Tonight, we play playoff hockey tonight. We got game one. We got, 2 months locked in on the possibly the greatest championship run in any sport. Every other athlete says probably the hardest trophy to win is always the Stanley Cup. Now think of all the great memories over the years. I just think back. My fondest memory, Justin Williams ripping down the ice with an empty net. I forget who passed it to him, but it was given on across to Williams. Scars! Oh my goodness, Doc, just giving us the bliss in our ears, the way he articulated the game, to going to Alec Martinez in the LA Kings overtime winner over the Rangers. Martinez scars the LA King. The best moments are born during this time of the year. The greatest hockey memories are born at this time of the year. All I can think about. It was Brett Hedican. No, not Brett Hedican. Who was the first goal? Was it Brett Hedican? Oh my goodness. Aaron Ward. Game 7.
It was Aaron Ward.
Aaron Ward, Game 7. I lost my head for a second. It's back. Aaron Ward, Game 7, coming in, teeing one up, taking a 1-0 lead over the Edmonton Oilers. It's playoff times, baby. Justin Williams, backdoor tap in, Game 7 against the Capitals. It's playoff time, baby. Let's go. All right, I'm done. It's playoff time. I can't be more excited.
Yeah, it is exceptional time to watch the game. I mean, and the fans, the arenas, the energy, everything about playoff hockey is different than anything else you'll ever experience.
Everywhere except Toronto.
Yeah, because it's crazy. I mean, people sometimes don't understand, especially, the tailgating. I mean, hell, I think Carolina introduced tailgating to the NHL, and, just the party that goes along with the game and the absolute battle that happens on the ice. It's all or nothing this time of year because everybody starts. It's 0-0. The score, the standings doesn't make a shit right now. It doesn't matter. It makes zero difference. And I'm with you. It's probably the best time, especially when you got a team that's in it. But at the same time, just to watch the games, watch the series, and just to watch the compete and battle, it's amazing.
It's the best hockey.
It is. No, it's good, and it's here a lot faster than I anticipated it. It feels like just yesterday it was January and we were talking about, the Nature's trade. So it definitely came up on us quick, but yeah, I mean, playoffs start today. It's going to be fun. I feel like this year more than years past, I felt like last year everybody was kind of like, oh, it's Florida's to lose. It kind of felt like it was destined to be Florida's. This year it's kind of up in the air. There are so many teams this year that it could go to. Yep. I mean, you could have Florida go on a run. Tampa looks like they're back to form, from their back-to-back cup winning season. I mean, Ottawa looks really good. They still look good.
Toronto looks like a weapon finally.
Toronto actually looks like a contender this year. They were pretenders in years past. I really think they have a good chance this year. Colorado, Dallas, maybe sort of. Dallas is struggling a bit, but Edmonton a little bit too. They're struggling, but the Jets look good. I mean, the Kings, I don't know who's beating the Kings at home, realistically. Like, if the Kings have home ice, they're probably winning the series. So, yeah, it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, so let's dive into, and we'll get into all the other series, but obviously the one that's near and dear to us is Kane's Devils. So I guess let's pick that one apart. The good, the bad, the ugly. What do we need to do? Who needs to do what? in order for this to be a good outcome for the Hurricanes. I mean, I think from my side, I think it's going to a couple of things. It's going to come down to is for one's goaltending. We have to have good goaltending. I mean, I think that's a cliche, and everybody's going to say it. It's like, but in playoff hockey, it's absolutely necessary because you can't just outscore a team, and people say it. I think a lot of coaches will say it. You know, you got to have good team defense. So, I think those two things. If we don't play well in our own zone, I don't see us coming out of the series because Devils are, even though they're without some of their top guns, I just think that they got too many other guns that are, not as good, but of equal caliber potentially. But as a unit, if we don't play good team defense, I think Jersey's going to give us a hard time. But if we do, then I don't see the series going very long. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, totally agree with you. That's the only difference in this series is if Carolina can figure out the team defense. Now, granted, we played a lot of meaningless hockey down the stretch here. I get that. When basically since we've been locked in, it's been a little bit down the rabbit hole of just not playing well. But before we got locked in, we were on a 9-game winning streak. So we were kind of, when we had the momentum and when we had the urgency, we were a good hockey team. The only thing I don't like about playing those meaningless games down the stretch is it can cause you to get lazy or get kind of out of your rhythm in certain regards. So now Carolina has to come back and get back to the routine and get back to where they are and where they need to play. I hope we see Nikishin in game one. I still think that there is a possibility that he is. Cam, I will let you kind of go over why you think he could be because it was your initial thought. So, but I think overall, man, I'm just the only question mark I have in Carolina right now is in the net. And to be honest with you, I thought it was going to be Freddie, but it's now like, hey, he's given up 20 something goals in the last 4 games. Like it's not like
Yeah.
he's been lights out either. So is he really still the number one going into it? I don't know. To me, the past 4 games, if we're looking at both goalies in the past 4, Kochetkov looked like the more steady one. I maybe I'm going crazy, but I just again it's a little worrisome. I still think Rod goes to Freddie, but that's kind of my two
Yeah.
cents right now. Is just Carolina's got to figure out defensively what to do, and they got to be able to stop New Jersey's waves of offense coming through. And it's going to be Carolina's series to lose because if Carolina can do what we normally do, which is control tempo down low below the goal line. The Devils don't have a deep enough D roster right now in order to contend with Carolina and the amount of offense that we can create off of that. The issue we run into is keeping the puck out of our net, especially when we get too many of those cycle chances down low and the D start jumping into it, because then it creates odd man rushes. And that is one thing New Jersey could kill us on is odd man rushes because they are a very
Hmm.
good team off the rush. But yeah, we got to make sure we're tight. And I think Rod's going to have the boys ready to go. Like I don't think team defense is going to be our issue.
Yeah, I think it's and especially in playoffs, the two things that are going to kill the Canes in the playoffs is going to be if the goaltending isn't good, it's going to kill them, and if the refs don't put the whistle away, it's going to kill them. We saw, and I know they were playing an AHL roster against Ottawa the other night, but I mean they had 10 or 12 penalties in total in that game. I'd give them. I fair to be fair to the refs. I'd give them 5 of those were good calls. The other 5 were horrible. I don't like to see that going into playoffs. It's like we're around this time of year. It's like, and both those guys that are reffing are probably not even reffing in the
I was going to
playoffs.
say,
So
I looked it up.
it's
Both of them
probably
are out
it's
of the
probably a mute.
playoffs.
It's probably a mute point. Like it probably doesn't matter. But again, if you see games with, you know, one power play aside, I'd be happy. I think the Canes have a way
Yep.
better chance because the Canes 5-on-5 are one of the better teams in the NHL. 5-on-5. The power play still stinks. It's horrible. I don't know what's going to change it. I don't think anything is going to change it.
Mm.
But as long as the penalty kill still stays good and we can still have a good 5-on-5 game, I think they still pull it out for sure. So I still think they win the series, but yeah, they got to limit the rushes for Jersey because Jersey will kill them off the rush. That's how they score all their goals.
Yeah.
So I know they're without Jack Hughes. They're without Siegenthaler, who is arguably their best defenseman, realistically,
Yeah.
like defensive defenseman.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's their
But
best defenseman.
yeah, I mean they still got some guys. I'm so glad Dougie's back. Thankfully, he's healthy.
Yep.
So
that's a positive
we're
for the Canes.
we're all glad he's back in the lineup, because we
Mhm.
can chalk in about probably 3 or 4 goals on Dougie, taking tickets at the side of one of the posts, not
Yep.
picking up a guy in back door. So we're definitely happy about that. But I think it's gonna be closer than people think. People are saying 5 games. I think it's gonna go at least 6.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it's. I mean, I guess the only way that it goes any quicker than 6 is if New Jersey absolutely doesn't show up. And I think if we come out, I will say this though, if we come out with a lot of jump in our game right away, we start every game on time and we create that forecheck and we get in there and we beat the piss out of their D, it could go 4 or 5 games. And if our goalies play well, if Markstrom has a dumpster fire in net,
If he
I think
stinks, it's over early.
it's over early. And so it's going to lead. Another question I had for you guys is, we sat most of our players for the last 2 games of the season. Does that hurt us or help us, or is there going to be any rust in game 1?
Maybe a little rust game 1, but overall, it's rest is a weapon. Rest is a weapon. I mean, you look at it like one of the greatest examples of this is Nathan McKinnon has stopped working out with the team entirely. He only works out, like, he has his own physio that he works with all the time, and he only works out according to his own schedule based on how much he recovered at nighttime, and how much sleep he's gotten, how rested he is. Because at the end of the day, the one thing that you can't replicate is having fresh legs. If you got fresh legs, man, it makes a world of difference, especially because in years past, what has Carolina looked like they've struggled with more than anything is they look tired towards the end of the season. We just gave half of our lineup a week break right before playoffs. Absolutely. Yes.
And I don't remember, correct me if I'm wrong though, has Rod ever done that?
Last year,
I don't remember.
did a little bit, but we only sat like 2 forwards and like
Maybe
2 defensemen.
1 or 2. It wasn't the whole lineup, basically.
No.
This was the whole, they sat a bunch of guys this year.
But we lost
a lot more than usual.
We lost Jesper Fast in game 82 last year, and I think that's the whole point of what Rod was doing is he's like, okay, these are 2 meaningless games up in Canada. Like, first of all, I'm not going to make the guys travel. So he left them at home. Like, I'm going to make them, they're going to hang out. That's fine. And on top of that, like, it gets guys good looks, and we can talk maybe a little bit about it. I thought certain guys in those 2 games showed pretty promising stuff. I thought Fensori was a very promising prospect. Definitely got to get stronger. It's just that's the only piece is because you're a smaller player, you just have to overcompensate with strength and skating. He has the skating down pat. He is a smooth, silky skater. It's just about getting that little more strength in order to just fend off a guy like Tom Wilson or a guy like somebody of that caliber where they're big and heavy forward. It's hard to fend those guys off. I.e. Patrick Laine. I think he got boxed out by Laine a couple times in that Montreal game. But I thought Skyler looked good. And to all the people that are saying that the only reason he got called up is because he's Rod's kid, that's a load of bullshit. He's 3rd in the team in scoring in Chicago. He's got I think he's 5th in points. He has the highest faceoff percentage. He's been playing second line center.
He's really good.
Really good. Like, he's a reliable center. The first game is nothing. Yes, that's your first National Hockey League game. I promise you, if I was on the ice in my first National Hockey League game, you could chalk anything I do up to I have no idea what's going on right now. I'm losing my mind. Like, in a good way. You're so excited that you're playing in the NHL, but at the same time, you look across the ice and you're playing against Nick Suzuki, you're playing against Cole Caulfield, you're playing against Demidov, who just came over, Patrick Laine, all these guys you never thought you'd play against, and now all of a sudden you're in a meaningful game in Montreal. Of all places, and on top of that, that place was an zoo. I'm so excited for them to be in playoffs because that place was
me too. I can't wait to get to that series.
But give those guys a break. Even with Nadeau, I didn't think Nadeau looked all that impressive either. But again, that's a tough environment to go into. And then the second game of a back-to-back, and you're playing an entire NHL roster of a playoff team. Like, they didn't sit
literally
a guy.
their entire roster.
They didn't sit a guy.
They didn't rest anybody.
No. So those 2 games, whatever. Like I don't care. I thought guys
Yeah, we don't
looked
need to
good.
talk about him.
Yeah, thought guys looked good. I just wanted to note out Finsori. I think the comments about Brendan Moore is stupid. I like that Stillman's staying up and we sent Morrow back down to Chicago. I think that's a good pick. Just
Yeah.
Morrow needs a little bit more seasoning, just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that Finsori kid. I thought he was good. I think he reminds me a lot of, and I hope he doesn't have the same attitude, but reminds me a lot of like a Tony D'Angelo because he's really good with it. He's really good in tight. He's quick. He's agile. He's got good. He can turn very, very quickly. But again, I agree with you. He's just got to get bigger, stronger.
Well, he can't get,
For
yeah,
him.
he's got to get
Yeah, it
stronger.
may take him a couple of years to get to that point where he can actually play in a NHL lineup on a regular basis. But again, like I said, I thought Skyler reminds me a lot of and will he play in the NHL long term? I don't know, but he reminds me a lot of a Jordan Stahl
I was
because
about
he's
to say
big.
that's exactly who he
Yeah,
reminds me of, is Jordan
yeah,
Stahl.
he's good in the circle. He's good on the PK. And I'm a million% on board with you, Kyle. I think anybody that says he's there just because he's Rod's kid is an idiot. They're absolutely they don't watch the game. They don't know the game, and they don't watch what a kid has done.
Yeah.
So Skylar's earned every bit of it. And Rod was ripping him on the bench too, so which was kind of cool. I mean, it's like he's just any other player when he's on the bench. So, but it was fun to see those guys come up and get a shot at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought he had more upside than Nadeau did.
Mm-hmm.
Realistic, like
Through the
if
two
I'm being
games, for
real
sure.
honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not that Nadeau played bad. I just think Nadeau obviously can shoot the puck. He's, he can get into those areas, but he just hasn't found, and it'll again, it's going to take some time for sure. He's going to be special at some point. I
Yeah,
mean, you don't just score 30 goals at 19 years old in the AHL for no reason.
yeah.
You're obviously good and you got a lot of talent.
Hey,
He's probably going to play one more year in the AHL, and he'll probably get called up
yeah,
quite a bit next year,
I
from what I'm
think
thinking.
probably half a season next year.
yeah. He
Yeah,
just
I
doesn't.
would say if somebody
He
goes
doesn't
down
have
with
the.
injury, he's probably the guy that they're
Yeah.
calling up, is what I'm assuming.
It's just he doesn't have as much. He didn't have as much time. Obviously, the
Yeah,
American League, you get a little bit more time to make those calls. But
for sure.
the
And he's
best thing
only
about
19.
him, I know the
That,
best thing about him is his release is so
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
When you watch that puck come off his stick, it's like that's a goal scorer's release.
Mm-hmm.
So give him a little bit more time to mature. Don't force him. Don't force
No.
the issue. Don't do a Kotkaniemi like Montreal did. Let's just let the kid develop
Yep.
because
Yeah.
you're gonna get much more out of him by leaving him in the American League for another
Yeah.
year.
And then one final comment, and then I think we hit the other series.
Okay.
But the only difference between the two, Nadeau, 19 years old, Brendan Moore, 25. Brendan Moore's played I think this was his third full season in the
Mhm.
AHL. It takes time to season, like 100%. So what I saw out of Nadeau was very promising. Same thing when I'm seeing out of Morrow, very promising. Do I think Morrow's NHL ready yet? Maybe he's a little under the bar, maybe a 7 defenseman right now, but he's going to be
Yep.
right there next year. I think Nadeau is kind of just on the outside looking in. I think he just needs some games. I think that's more it. He has to get used to the timing of the NHL. And then once he gets used to that, same thing I saw with Morrow right at the start. When first 5 games, it was just timing. Once he gets the timing down, he'll get more comfortable and when he gets nothing against Mark Jankowski and Tyson Yost, but if he gets a little bit more creativity on a line as well too, that opens up some space for him, I think it will help him significantly as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
And I think
Yeah.
my final thing on this, and then we can move on, is we all know that Nikishin arrived yesterday. Kane's put out a couple of videos about him. Video of him getting to the rink, video of him with Rod kind of hamming it up. He knows some English, which is good. And even Rod said, he's like, you take your time with the English. He's like, you're here to play hockey, and I know you know hockey, so that's all we need to know. And my understanding, and I hope I'm right, but I don't know if I'm going to be. When Montreal was pulling Demidov out of SKA or out of the KHL, they had to pay SKA like $4 million to release him from his contract early. There's no way that SKA is just going to let Nikishin go early without getting a payment from the Canes. So Dundon paid something to them to release him. I don't know what the number is. I don't know if it was 250,000, 500,000, $1 million, $2 million. I don't know what it was. But if I'm Dundon, I'm looking at Tulski and Rod and saying, I just paid $1 million to get this guy out of there a month early. A month. Not a year, not 2 years, a month.
Yep.
He better play.
Yeah.
If I'm the owner of the team, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I will do this, but he better play.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my 2 cents as to him, plus all of the hype from the Canes admin too, like all the videos and everything. And you know, when was the last time we saw a video of a guy that wasn't going to get in the lineup and play?
I
That
haven't
had
seen a
this
Scott
much
Morrow
attention.
hype video all year.
That's what I mean. Like we didn't see that. We didn't see even the Jackson Blake video. You know, we didn't see any of this kind of stuff. I mean, even with the trades with like Jankowski and Stankoven, I mean, there was one small little video, you
Yeah.
know, that of both of them combined. They weren't singled out. And I know it's probably because it's just him that's a part of this whole thing, but I think there's way too much hype around him. I'm assuming they're going to practice at some point today. That's what I'm assuming, just to get him up to speed. And I'm assuming at some point in practice, they're going to be like, okay, who are we scratching? Because he's got to play. Like that's what I'm thinking. Because if even you guys know, like when you're at practice,
You can
when
tell.
you bring in a new guy, or you call up a guy, or a guy comes and joins the team, or even if you're at a tryout, if you know, hey, we got this new kid, he came in, he just moved down from wherever. And on the first day, you're like, oh, here's the roster from last year. If he's dogging everybody from the roster last year, you're like, oh, Christ, he needs to be on the team. Like, you know, he needs to start. Like, it's pretty obvious. And I'm hoping, again, I'm hoping I'm right. I just don't know who gets scratched. I think if it's me, it's Orlov or Burns. So I don't think they're scratching Burns. I'm questioning if they'll scratch Orlov. I don't really know.
I think it ends up being
honestly
Ghost.
with his. I think it might be Ghost as well.
I think it's
it
either
might
going
be
to be him.
Ghost.
It's either going to be him or Shatfield, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I don't think that they're.
I really hope it's not.
I don't think.
I do too. I do too. But he
Counterpoint.
just seems to be the
Counterpoint.
He does.
Counterpoint.
He's
Hold
the
on.
Kopiemi of the back
Counterpoint.
end.
Who were the only defensemen that we sat for the 2 games before playoffs? Jacob Slavin and Jalen Chatfield, which goes to tell me Rod wants those 2 guys ready to go for the playoffs. So
that plus you look at last time that they, you know, Burns took 2 weeks off. What happened after he came back?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's another reason it wasn't Burns.
Well,
even though he only played one shift in the last game.
It's not Burns because of the Iron Man streak. It's the only reason he didn't come out. It's because of the Iron Man streak.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because there's a reason he played 26 seconds in the last game.
I was going to say he didn't play much.
He played 1 shift.
Played the first shift.
He played the very first shift of the game. Came off the ice and
he could have gone to the locker room. He sat in the middle of the bench.
He could have gone to the locker room. He could have got undressed. He could have gone home. He could have got a charter flight home. He'd have been home before the game was over. If he'd have got undressed and just left from there.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, but in my eyes, it's like, okay, if Chatfield is the guy I'm going to possibly be sitting for a Nikishin, and that's the mindset that Rod, I know we just said we were going to get off this one, but I think this is a good conversation. But if that's the mindset, then if I'm Rod, I'm not sitting Chatfield the day before playoffs. I'm sitting Sean Walker or somebody else that I'm more worried about getting injured. He's worried about Chatfield getting injured before the playoffs start because he knows, like, I think Chatfield is past the point of he's the odd man out. I think he's probably second or third in rotation in Rod's mind right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe outside of Slavin, Burns, or Walker would be the 2. I don't know where Rod's head's at. So I don't know if he thinks Burns is higher than Walker or vice versa. But all right.
Well, let's, so I know we probably did it mid topic before we leave these guys. Let's go series games. So I'm going to go Canes in 6.
Cam, you go.
Man, game one will be I think game one will be a big indicator, honestly. But yeah, I'm going to say Canes in 6 as well. No, sorry. Canes in 7. I don't think they can win on the road. So I'm going to go Canes in 7.
Boys, I'm going to be the odd man out here. I think
you're going to bring out the duster or what?
Not the duster, but I'm going to go 5.
Okay.
Canes in 5. And the only reason I'm saying that is we're all forgetting the bulletin board material PK Subban gave us right before playoffs. Like, slap it right on the header of the bulletin board. The Carolina Hurricanes are the worst team in the Eastern Conference playoffs. That's what he said, word for word. And guess who he has sitting in the fourth hole? The New Jersey Devils. He thinks they are significantly better than the Hurricanes. You don't think that that's making it back? Jarvis already pointed it out. Jarvis said, well, PK, since you have us in the bottom, we don't really have much to play for, right? So we're just going to go out and prove you wrong. I think they're going to do it.
I love it. I love that
I
actually
think they're
because
going to do it.
hey, what
Me too.
what happened in 2006? Dougie Wade no, it was Ray Whitney said some genius in the media had us last in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
And look what happened there. So
Yeah.
so we'll see.
But
So
I think so. Let me. I'm going to give I think Carolina rips apart New Jersey first two games of the series. I genuinely, I think it's going to be
I could get on board with that.
I think first two games of the series, like, it's going to be a shelling. 5-1 game one, like 4-0 game two, something along those lines. I think New Jersey is going to be on their heels heavy going into game three. I think we take game three, lose game four, win game five. I think we're up 3-0 in the series. I think they win one in game four to make it a series, and then we win in game five. But I don't think we're going to have a problem winning on the road. As much as everybody thinks we are, I think Rod has sort of figured it out in that Montreal game when he just rolled lines, that sometimes rolling line works, because he did it in the Ottawa game. And we we couldn't get a save to save our life right then in that game, but we scored 5 goals. Like,
yeah,
I'll take 5 goals.
No, I know. Well, I truly hope you're right, Kyle. I really do, because that's one of the biggest things that has been our biggest Achilles heel at the moment. So anyways, we'll stay in the Eastern Conference. We'll stay in the Metro, and we'll go Caps and Canadians. I really think that Montreal's got a favored chance in winning this series. I think the Capitals have been playing not very good. They've been sitting a couple of guys here and there, but I think the biggest thing with the Capitals is the hangover from the Ovi effect. And then I think having your number one goaltender is Charlie Lindgren, I think that's going to be a tough one because you lost your best goaltender. And unless Logan Thompson can come back, I think they're in a world of hurt. I think Montreal is just playing too well right now. And Montembeault is better than Lindgren. There's no doubt in my mind that I think he is. And I think he's playing that way right now. So I think Montreal is a team of destiny. Do I think they go all the way? I struggle beyond Washington, but I think they've got a good, really, really good shot at beating the Capitals.
Yeah, the only thing for me that, I do like Montreal. I think their lack of experience is going to be shown. That's the only thing I worry about with them. I know the Caps got swept last year, but 80% of those guys that are on the team now were a part of that. They were a part of that playoff run. So even though it's not many games, and obviously Ovi's won a cup, Wilson's won a cup,
Carlson's won a cup, Dowd's won a cup.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So they got a lot of cup winners. Does Montreal have any guys that have won a cup?
Nope.
I don't know if they do. Honestly,
David Savard.
How about Savard?
David Savard. Yes, he won one.
Savard is the only one. So it's gonna be tough road. Not to say that they won't beat them, but it's definitely gonna be. I think it's gonna be important if Montreal comes out, if they win game one in Washington.
Yeah,
it's going 7. That's how I look at it. If they don't win game one, I think it's going to be tough for them to get themselves motivated to try and push and try and win past game one. So for me, I think the series is won or lost in game one. Honestly, I think whoever wins game one wins the series. So I hope it's Montreal, but like I said, I just think the Caps have too much depth up and down their lineup that I don't think even the goaltending obviously is in favor of Montreal, but I don't know. The Caps are still the Caps. They didn't come in second in the NHL for no reason. So
yeah. So I I think Montreal, out of every series, has the greatest chance of kind of pulling off the upset per se. I think they look a lot like Carolina did when they pulled off the upset against the Capitals 7 years ago. At this point, God, I
Hmm.
feel like goes real quick at that point. But anyways, they look very similar, where they had to play playoff hockey the last 2 months of their season in order to make it into the playoffs. The only problem I have is if we're worried about the Capitals skidding right now, we got to be real worried about Carolina skidding as well too, because they're in the same boat we are. They're playing a lot of meaningless hockey. Outside of the OV chase, there was really not much to play for because they locked up their playoff spot about 2 months ago. So, like, yes, I agree. The Capitals have skidded going into playoffs 100%, but so is Carolina. So, if we're not worried too much about Carolina, then we can't really do the same thing for Washington. I do agree. I think Montembeault is the better goalie. Do I think he's far superior? I don't think so. I think it's probably a lot closer of a goaltending battle than we would probably initially say. Now, if Thompson was in net, I think he's the better of the three. So again, I think Montembeault is better, but in the same vein of breath, yes, Cole Hudson had a great year, 100%. Can he do it in playoffs? Massive question. I'm not saying he
Plain, but
can't.
yeah.
I'm not saying he can't, but can he do it? Like that's because if he can't, and because he's 19, 20 years old and he's being relied on to be the number one defenseman, if he can't, I'm not blaming him for anything, but that's going to be a massive hole that Montreal cannot fill. They're not getting the same offense. Yeah, maybe Caden
Yeah.
Gooley can step up like he did in that
Yeah.
game, but I don't think he's going to step up to be a 70-point average guy.
Yeah.
Like that. So to me, that's the real hindrance point for this Montreal team is yes, it's a lot of the youth, but like Lane Hudson, he's not a big defenseman. So when the going gets tough and you got Tom Wilson bearing down your throat for the 19th time in a night, like, are you going to still go back and get that puck, or are you going to rotate off so you don't take the hit and allow Wilson to go get
Yeah.
that puck?
Yeah.
That's the mental
Yep.
side of it that I don't think Montreal has at this point. I think the
Well,
Capitals still get through in this one.
yeah. Here's my last point, and then we'll go to series predictions. My last point is I think Montreal has the X factor, and I think the X factor is Marty St. Louis. I think he's a cup guy. He's won a cup. He knows how to make it. It's going to really come down to who makes the better adjustments as the series goes on, because I think he has that ability to make those adjustments as the game progresses, as the game changes, as the series changes. So I still believe in my heart of hearts that Montreal has is in my mind is my favorite to come out of this series. So I'm going to say the Canadians in 7.
Yeah. Man, it's tough because it's definitely one that I think Washington's good enough team defense wise to make Lindgren look not horrible. So I'm gonna go Caps in 6. I
I,
hope Montreal wins, but I'm going Caps in 6.
I also hope Montreal wins, but I'm taking the Caps in 6 as well too. Dad, counterpoint. I think that yes, while Martin St. Louis is probably the second best coach at making adjustments, he's going up against the best. I think Spencer Carberry is just as good, if not a better coach. I think he might be the best coach in the NHL right now. To take that team from where it
No,
was last year to now, I
no, he's not. But that's okay.
That's okay. You can have
Yeah,
that opinion.
there's another series with the best coach in the NHL that we'll get to.
okay.
So anyway, so you're going Caps in 6, Cam's going Caps in 6, and I'm
Yep.
going Canadians in 7. All right, we got a little dissension. I like it. That's what we need. So we'll stay in the East. Let's head up the thruway to the into the Northeast, or well, into Canada actually, and let's go Toronto, Ottawa.
The Battle of
I'm
Ontario.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna a couple things. It's gonna come down to does Allmark play the way he can play? I think if he does, then Ottawa wins this series. But if he doesn't, I think Toronto's just too good. They got too many weapons. They're too good defensively. What if Wall plays well? He can He can steal a game here or there. So it really, the X factor is Allmark. I still think Toronto is going to win this series, but if Allmark plays well, I think Ottawa's got a good shot at it. But I'm still going to go with Toronto.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, if Olmark looks like he did against the Canes AHL team the other night, they're in a world of hurt. They're going to get swept. So Allmark needs to stand on his head. Like you said, Wall can steal him a game or two, but he doesn't have to stand on his head as much. I think this is the most complete Toronto team we've ever seen, and ever. Like from like even probably back in the '90s. Like this is it. I think this is their year. And as you know, and I've never said that. I'm not a fan of Montreal or of Toronto. Like I don't follow them. I don't watch them. But when they played the Canes at home, we were at that game. We were in the arena. They gave the Canes nothing, nothing. They gave up nothing, nothing in the D zone. They were stingy defensively. All their defensemen are huge. They're big. They're strong. They can skate. They can break the puck out. They can block shots. They can eat the puck in the corner. They can do it all. And that's what they haven't had in ever.
Yep.
They have never had that. And now they do.
Yep.
And they have the offensive firepower up front. If Matthews catches a little bit of heat, Marner, if he can do what he did in the regular season in the playoffs, Nylander, if he shows up as well, not Matthew Nyes as well, like John Tavares. I mean, they're so deep, and
Yeah,
I
will say, I will
don't
say
see
that.
Ottawa overwhelming them.
Yeah, I will say though, if those three you mentioned that typically fade away in the playoffs, if they show up in the playoffs,
They're going to the Cup.
they're going to the Cup.
I
I
agree.
mean, because
If they show
they're
up,
too
they're
good.
going all the way.
Yeah.
This is the most complete Toronto team we have seen, I think, forever. At least since I've been able to watch hockey. Top to bottom, they have depth that they need on the back end. They've been getting goaltending from both guys. They have the offense to do it. They have everything they need to. And it's going to be theirs to lose. I think that, like, Toronto just is, like, you go line by line, stronger. Every single line is stronger than Ottawa's line. Every D pairing, I would argue, is stronger than Ottawa's D pairing. The goaltending can be a whitewash depending on what the defense does. It's just like this Toronto team is going to be a problem. I'm taking Ottawa in 7.
Too.
Oh wow, he's even going Ottawa in 7.
I'm taking Ottawa in 7.
Interesting.
And the only reason,
I'm going Toronto. I'm going Toronto in 6.
Only reason, the Air Canada Centre is a fucking library. So they're going to have no atmosphere. Ottawa's going to win one on the road, and I promise you the Canadian Tire Center is going to be raucous. That place is going to be buzzing. It's not going to be all the suits in the bottom row. So you want to fix the issue in Toronto, they got no home atmosphere. They got nothing going for them in the playoffs because that damn bowl is a library, because the only people that can afford it are people that don't want to actually be there. They're just using it as a business write-off and an expense to pay for that crap. So that's the reason why Toronto's not going to win. And that's the reason why they've sucked in years past as well, too. On top of that, Joseph Woll, I'm sorry, I was making up some crap. You want to talk about goaltending mismatch? Joseph Woll is not half the goaltender Linus Ullmark is. Linus Ullmark's going to show up. That was a throwaway game for Ottawa. They knew it. 3 backdoor tap-ins in Carolina, or against Carolina. Sure, we can put that on Ullmark. That's fine. 3 of the goals were backdoors. Like the Joe's goal, literally 2-on-0 backdoor tap in. Brendan Moore goal was a net front scramble backdoor tap in. Like, sure, we can put those on him. That's fine. Ullmark's going to steal this series. Matthew Tkachuk is going to steal, or not Matthew, Brady Tkachuk is going to steal this series. You want to talk about X factors? Brady Tkachuk is an X factor. Look what he did in the Four Nations. I don't think anybody in Toronto can match what Brady Tkachuk's going to bring to that Ottawa lineup, and it's not even close. Matthews is going to disappear. Marner's going to disappear. Willie's going to be the only thing bringing any offense to them. JT is actually going to have a surprising series, so I'm calling them on that. Ottawa's going to take this in 7. I'm just
all right. Well, we'll see. You know, we'll see what happens. So let's bounce to the next Atlantic series. So we got. Oh shit! My thing went away.
It is Florida Tampa battle.
Yeah,
of Florida
Tampa.
Florida.
Yeah, Battle of Florida. So wow, this one's gonna be wild. You know, I think this one, I mean, I think this one's going to go 7 games for sure. It's going to be a like a serve and volley. It's going to be, who's going to have the little advantage. If Bob plays well, then it's not going to be goaltending is going to be the issue. It's going to be who wins the special teams battle, who wins the physical battle. And I saw something the other day, and I thought I had to do a double take, but second in scoring on the Tampa Bay Lightning is Brendan Hagel. I was like, that's crazy.
0 power play goals.
An outstanding year. So I think it goes to show that I think Tampa's back to form. I think they really are. And Nikita Kucherov, love him or hate him, he's about as electric a player as
Hart
you're going to
Trophy
want to
winner.
see. I mean, he is so good. And John Cooper. I mean, he knows how to talk about in game adjustments.
The best coach in the NHL.
He's probably the best one at doing it in the NHL.
I'll give you
in
that.
my opinion.
That's fair. Yeah, John Cooper.
Yeah.
That was. I thought you were going Bednar, and I was like, man, he's got Nathan McKinnon.
No.
Like, you don't got to do
No.
much.
No,
Throw
he
him
doesn't
on
have
the
to make
ice.
adjustments.
It's
He doesn't
definitely
have to
John
make
Cooper.
adjustments. He says, Nate, get out
Nate,
there.
go.
That's
Kale,
his
go.
adjustment.
Run.
Kale, Nate, go.
Run, baby, run.
That's his adjustment.
Run for
Yeah,
us.
that's all he
so-
does. Just
exactly.
let them buzz.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, I think I picked him last week, and I'm going to stay with him. I think Tampa takes this series. I think it's going to go 7 games, but I think Tampa does take this series. It's just that they're playing like the Tampa of old, and I don't think that if without a guy like Ekblad on the D side in series 1, I believe he comes back in series 2 if they make it.
He comes
if
back
they make it.
game
I
3,
was gonna
game
say,
2
he
or
comes
3
back
in
game
this
3
series.
of this
Was it
series.
game 2? I thought it was the second series.
No, it's
So,
game 3 of this series. He'll
but
be
anyway,
back.
but I think even still, it's 2 games at home for Tampa. So I just think they got too much going in the right direction for them. And again, Bob's got to be outstanding for this to be for Florida to have a chance at this one.
Yeah, I think Tampa's like you said, Tampa is back to form for them. I mean, Vasilevsky's been. I mean, if I'm picking any goalie that I want on the Canes to go on a cup run with, it's Vasilevsky. There's no other goalie I want. I don't care. I want him. I don't want Bob. I don't want Hellebuck. I don't want Ottinger. I don't want it. No, give me Vasilevsky. He's going to steal him 2 games. I'm calling at least 2 games, maybe more. But they're too offensively gifted. Now, I know they are power play merchants. I will give them that. They score a ton of goals in the power play. They always have, though. That's always been their MO, and they still won 2 cups in a row. So they also draw a lot of penalties as well. I think they're one of the top 5 teams in the NHL that draws penalties from. So it'll be interesting. I'm going Tampa as well. I'm going to go Tampa in 6 for me. I don't know if it's going to go to 7. I think they're going to do it in 6. I still don't think Brady or Matthew Tkachuk's 100%. I don't think he's going to be a big of an impact in this series. I mean, you saw how much he didn't impact the 4 nations after he got hurt. So, I mean, if he's just out there just to be, the rah-rah guy, they don't have a chance. They need him to be 100%. They need him to be going. He's their guy. So, and I know Barkov is there too, but without him, it's not going far. So I'm gonna go Tampa in 6. I think Tampa's got better decor, better offense, better goaltending, better coach. So I'll go with the better team in this one.
I agree that I think they are the better team, but something tells me that Matthew is going to be Matthew. Barkov's going to be Barkov. And something tells me that there's a little X factor in the rat line with Marchand and
That's
Bennett
true.
on it.
Marchand's there too.
Marchand and Bennett together. I mean, I get it. They're going to probably get into some penalty troubles, and I know that. I think the first 2 games is probably going to be rough, but when Ekblad comes back, man, you talk about stingy defensively. Like, Florida's about as good as you get stingy defensively. And when you got to play that style in playoffs, Tampa's not going to get as many offensive chances as they think. And when they don't generate offense, they're having to play a defensive core. And man, I get it. Chiernak's a great defenseman. Hedman's a great defenseman. McDonough's been a beacon for them. Like he's the guy there. But like something just tells me that Florida is they're gonna be able to play a style that Tampa can't match, that not a lot of teams in the NHL can match, and it's gonna just wear the hell out of Tampa. I think that's the only thing that worries me in this series with Tampa is like, yes, any team loses a main guy, it's all over. But when you're playing against Florida, you're probably gonna lose a guy, if not two. Like it just happens every series that somebody plays against Florida. You lose a guy or two because they're nasty. They don't play nice. They play to win. And man, like back-to-back years, I bet against them. I'm not doing it again. I think Florida takes this series, and I think it's going to match us up perfectly for a round 2 battle of the Chuck brothers, which is going to be absolutely electric as well too.
That would be wild to see.
That would be wild. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So you going
I'm going
Florida and what?
Florida in 7. I think the first
Okay.
two games are going Tampa's way, just without Ekblad.
For
But
sure.
when Ekblad comes back in,
agree.
I think they head back to Game 5 tied 2-2 in the series. And then I think after that point, it's a best of 3, and I get it. Vasilevsky and Bob are going to go toe to toe. This is going to be a lower scoring series than a lot of people. I don't think this is going to have a game that's going to be above a 5-goal game in it. I think everything's going to be
Yeah.
2-1, 3-2, just like
2-1, 3-2,
like
3-1.
yeah,
I
like
think so
right
too.
in that realm. I don't think there's going to be a lot of offense, and that's why
Yeah.
Tampa builds a lot of their team around scoring, and I don't know that's going to work in this series. That's my only.
I could see this series being the one series of the first round that could have the most overtime games.
Yes,
I think this
Yeah.
is the one absolutely has the potential for that.
Yeah.
this and the Ottawa Toronto series.
Yeah.
The
So,
only
all right. Well, let's leave the East. We're about the 3/4 mark of the hour, so we'll head out west here, and give us our 5-minute briefs on the Western Series and who we think's going to come out. We'll head to the Central first. Let's go. Today's opening series, we're going to be I think it's going to Dallas, Colorado. We'll talk about them first. Then we'll go Winnipeg, St. Louis. So Dallas, Colorado. I think with Jason Robertson going down, I think Dallas is less of a favorite now than they were probably 2-3 days ago, or a week ago. And I think Colorado's just got too much in the tank to lose a guy like Jason Robertson. And then you got the effect of potentially Landeskog coming back into the lineup too. So I don't know where that factors in. I don't know what their lineup decisions have been at this point, but I think the only question mark for me, Dallas has the better goaltender, and I think if he plays well, he could potentially steal the series. But he has to play exceptional every game against guys like the Avalanche have to throw at him. So I'm still wavering towards the Avalanche. I'm going to go the Avs in 6. It would have kind of gone the other way potentially, but having Robertson out of the lineup, that's a tough hole to fill. Maybe they can do it. I don't know, but I still think the Avs have just too much firepower with Cale Makar, McKinnon, and adding the depth grindy guys like Brock Nelson and Charlie Coyle. And I think they're just too good, and they're going to be too much for Dallas to overcome, missing a key guy like Robertson. So I'm going to go Avs in 6.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I do think the Avs win the series. I think them basically confirming that Miro Heiskanen is not going to be playing in the series as well is a huge blow for them. I mean, I think even at that point, even when they had Robertson, I still think they didn't win the series. Now I really don't think they win the series. So I do think Colorado takes it. The only thing, like you said, that's going to steal the series is if Ottinger plays out of his mind. If Colorado gets playoff Marty Necas and Ottinger plays out of his mind, this series is going Dallas. So it really depends. I mean, it really does. And I've seen a lot of people griping, a lot of Colorado Avalanche fans griping, like, "Hey, what happened to Marty Necas? Where'd he go? He's been gone for the last month. Like, what happened?"
He's getting
And this
primed up
one
for
of the it
playoffs,
was funny. I was
baby.
looking, and one of the comments underneath it was from a Canes fan, and they were like, "Welcome to April Marty Necas. Like, this is what happens. He goes, it gets really hot for like a month, and then somebody pours a bucket of water on him, and he just can't seem to relight himself on fire." He just can't seem to do it. So I'm hoping for his sake that he can prove that he can be the guy that Rantanen was, because that's what he's trying to live up to at this point. Are you as good as Rantanen? Are you as good as, or even close to how Rantanen was in the playoffs? So
Yeah.
this is big for him. This is a big thing for Marty Necas, because if he doesn't show up, don't be surprised if he gets dished next year. Honestly. So with that being said, I'm going Avs in 5.
I was gonna say, if any series feels like a sweep for me, it's this one, and the only reason why is because
I could see it. I could.
you want to talk about
Yeah.
trouble. Like, Dallas's defense is in shambles. They're missing their top two
Yeah,
defensemen.
I
Like,
know.
so their top D pairing is going to be Essa Lindell and Cody Ceci. Their second D pairing is going to be Thomas Harley and Ilya Labushkin. Their third D pairing is going to be this Bishel kid I've never heard of and this Petrovich kid I've never heard of. They're in a world of trouble right now. Like,
Yeah, they are.
it was already a question mark. I was more worried about, like, okay, can Dallas's defense at full health keep up with Colorado's offense? I was struggling with that question. I was like, it's going to be a high scoring series. If anything, like, Ottinger's going to have to stand on his head. I don't think Ottinger can do anything. Like, he could
Yeah.
stand on his head left, right, and center. They're still going to put up 7. Like, there's just no, like, look at what happened with Winnipeg last year. They lost Morrissey, and all of a sudden it was in shambles. They were letting up 7 goals a
Yeah.
game, and Colorado got better. They're a better team than
Yeah.
last year. Like,
Yeah, they are.
I think Colorado wins this in 4. Like, as bad as that sounds, I don't think Rantanen's done nothing since joining Dallas. It's not like he's
Yeah.
lit the world on fire. I think that he was, as bad as this is to say, and prove me wrong, Miko, prove me wrong, but he was a Nathan McKinnon merchant. I think on
Yep.
any other team, he's averaging 70 points and he's like a $6.5 to $8 million a year player. But he got to play
Yep.
with Nathan McKinnon on the power and Cam McCarr on the power play, and all of a sudden he puts up 100 points back-to-back seasons, and he thinks he's worth everything in the world. I'm honestly could not be happier that the Carolina traded
Yeah.
him away and got something in return
Yeah.
for him. Because if we'd have been stuck with him walking in free agency or signing a long-term ticket here, I would have been miserable at this point.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So anyway, so we all unanimously agree that the Avs are going to take this series. So let's bounce to the next series in the Central. It's going to be Winnipeg, St. Louis. This is another one that I think has a potential for an upset. The way St. Louis has been playing, I still think Winnipeg's going to win it. But I think St. Louis is obviously, and then we've mentioned it ad nauseum. You know, they got Jordan Binnington, and he's a gamer. I mean, he's a guy that can steal an absolute series, and look what he did in Four Nations, and you know, blah blah blah. So he's in my mind is the X factor, and I think we all agree to that. That he can, if he plays like he can in playoff hockey, he can win them 4 games of 7. I think you know, I think it's actually going to go 7, but I think Winnipeg's going to win it. But again, I could easily go the other way and say St. Louis is going to win it, but I just think Winnipeg's got a little bit too much power. And defensively they're really strong, and they got Connor Hellebuck. So if they had a worser, terrible word, but if they had a worse goaltender, I'd say I'd give it to St. Louis. But you know, you got a Vezina winner in Connor Hellebuck that, you know, even if he has a 80% game, he's got the supporting cast in front of him. So I still think it's going to be Winnipeg in 7.
Not only a Vezina winner, but odds-on favorite to win the Hart this year, by the way.
Yeah.
He has in Vegas, he has the best odds to win the Hart Trophy this year as well too. So, like, talk about, yeah. I think that this Central playoffs is going to be wrapped up quickly. I got Winnipeg in 5. I think this is going to be Connor Hellebuck's coming out party. I don't think he's going to have too much work to do anyways. You want to talk about mismatches offensively? I know we talked a little bit about that Toronto-Ottawa series, but, like, man, Winnipeg's got lines. I mean, Nino Niederreiter's on their third line, and we know what Nino can do on a third line. He put up another 20 goals this season as well, too. So it's like they got depth in their lineup, and I just don't think St. Louis has got anything to match it. I really don't. Outside of their top line, they don't have much that can really go up against, I mean, their second line is Dylan Holloway, who's had a great season, but, like, again, I think he's a third line player on a Stanley Cup contender. I don't think he's a second line player on a Stanley Cup contender. I think Jordan Binnington is going to steal them a game, but something tells me that this is going to be
Yeah.
Hellebuck's coming out party. I don't think St. Louis is going to be able to score much. I think if Hellebuck can get out of the first round, watch out. Like, I think he just needs one. He just needs one round win, one series where he dominates and it's lights out. I think Winnipeg, to me, is about the only team that I think could actually take down Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I got
So,
Winnipeg in
toss-
5.
What do you think, Cam?
It's going to be interesting. We all know kind of what happened with Winnipeg last year, kind of getting pummeled by Colorado in the first round. But yeah, I mean, Winnipeg's really deep this year. Obviously, decor, it seems like everybody's healthy. Goaltending, obviously, you can give the edge to Winnipeg in that one just because of how well he's played in the regular season. With that, and I said this right after Four Nations, and I'm sticking to it. I will never again bet against Jordan Binnington in games that matter. I'm going St. Louis in 6.
St. Louis in 6. All right.
Yeah.
6. They're going to lose the first 2, and they're going to win 4 in a row.
I like it.
And he would, like I said, Kyle, he's my X factor as well. And the other thing too that let's not forget is I really like Jim Montgomery as a coach, and I think he can. I think the Bruins absolutely shit the bed when they fired him. I think he wasn't the problem.
No.
Sweeney was the problem, but Montgomery has turned that team around from a dumpster fire to what it is today. And I think he can actually make the in-game adjustments that other guys haven't been able to do.
There's a reason they lost back-to-back years after being the best team in the NHL.
Yeah, well, this is a different year, and he's got so we'll see where it comes out of. But I'll live on the other side of that coin for you. So let's head to the Pacific since we're hitting the hour mark here. We'll go. Let's start with Vegas and Minnesota. For me, is probably the easiest one to pick. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It's these two are going to be easy for me. The Pacific. So I think Vegas is just too good for Minnesota. I think Vegas is going to roll all over them. I think this is the one that I had earmarked as my sweep. I think I get it. Gustafson's a great goaltender for Minnesota. I think he could be the X factor, but I just think up front Vegas is too heavy. They're too big. They're too good defensively. They got Aiden Hill. I wish if they had a little bit better goaltending, I could see them going to the Cup final. I probably do see them. Other than them and the Avalanche are my two to go to the Cup, but I just think this is going to be a series that Vegas is just going to run with this one, and this one's going to be the one that I'm going to say is a sweep. It's going to be 4-0 Vegas.
Yeah, I think Vegas wins in 5. I think as promising as Minnesota is going to be, and they have arguably one of my favorite players in the NHL outside of the Canes and Eriksson Ek. I don't think they can hang with the Vegas team. They got too many guys on that team that are too good. They got Cup winners on that team. Their decor's healthy again. They're scary right now, I think. So the only thing that's going to save them is if Kaprizov carries them. If Kaprizov just goes insane and just has 3 or 4 points a night, it's going to be tough. Yeah, I think that's the only way they win the series. But yeah, I'm going Vegas in 5.
I think that talk about being big and heavy. Minnesota's right up there with being big and heavy. So I think that while I still probably have Vegas over edging the series, I think this one goes 7. To be completely honest with you, I think Minnesota has enough firepower to get past Aiden Hill. I think that they have enough physicality to match what Vegas can bring to them. In my honest X factor in this series, I saw something, and it kind of, I could just see the little glimpse happening. It's just, I think Vegas lights up Gustafsson in the first 2 games. I think we go game 3 with the flower in the cage. And the flower power. One last kick at the can is going to take him to 7. I just, again, high hopes and dreams, but I do think Vegas ends up edging out the series. I think they have too much power up front. I think Minnesota's top end talent is better than Vegas's top end, but it's only really two guys, maybe three,
Yeah.
if you count in Boldy.
Yeah.
But I think Vegas just has like 5 or 6 guys that are more capable than the Minnesota's top 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, I know I just said that I think Vegas edges it. I still think that there's every chance that this is I think the way you feel about that St. Louis series, Dad. I think that this is how I feel about this series. I think Minnesota has every chance to possibly take out Vegas. I just still think Vegas has a little too much kick in the can. I think they
Yeah.
take it in 7.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how that one goes. But then the final one in the Pacific is Edmonton, LA. I just LA is, I think LA is playing too good right now. They're really good at home, and I think they
Home
have
ice,
home ice.
yes.
So I'm definitely going LA in this series. I don't think this is going. I don't think this is going 7. I think Edmonton, though they play well at home, I think without a guy like Matthias Ekholm in the lineup, I think they're going to be. It's kind of like not having Aaron Ekblad in the lineup for the Florida Panthers. It's going to be a train wreck in the D zone for Edmonton. So this one could easily, well, I should say easily, it could sweep as well, but I'm still going to give Edmonton a game or two. So I'm going to go LA in 5, because I just think there's too much. They have too. They're too good. They're good defensively. I mean, goaltending like for like, Darcy Kemper and Stuart Skinner. So there's no real edge on the goaltending side. So I think LA is playing too good right now, and without a guy like Ekholm, the Oilers are they're in the world of hurt as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, for me, it's this is my series that I think is going to sweep. I think LA sweeps them. I think this is going to be 4-0 to LA. I think the Oilers upper management made a huge mistake letting go of Broberg and Holloway. They were the two young, promising guys. Even if you had to rework your roster, you got to re-sign those guys. They went with you to the Cup final. They got the experience. They're on St. Louis, which is part of the reason I took St. Louis, because they got those guys that were in the Cup final last year, and they know what it takes, and they got a lot of Cup winners on that team. But on the LA side, I just think LA's too good. They're too good at home. They're not losing a home game, I don't think, in the entire playoffs. If they have home ice advantage, they're not losing a home game. So I think they win the series if they have home ice advantage in it. I also think that McDavid hasn't been that great this year. He's been okay, but he hasn't been the McDavid that we've seen from the past. I think Draisaitl has been the best player on the team this year, which is crazy to think about. I wouldn't have said that last year or 2 years ago when he signed that contract, but he's been the best player on the team. And I don't think that Draisaitl can carry this team past LA. So I think LA in 4 for me. I think they sweep.
Yeah, I will make this just real simple and sweet. I'm not betting against Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. I got Edmonton in 6. I mean,
Fair enough.
last year their power play clipped at 45%, and that was the whole reason why they made it to the Cup final. And I don't foresee their power play slowing down. While I think McDavid has had a tough run at it as of late, look what he does in meaningful games. Last year he had almost 50 points in playoffs. He had 48 points.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, Leon had 42, I'm pretty sure. So I'm not betting against those two guys. I'm taking Edmonton in 6. I think they somehow squeak away 2 wins in LA. I think they win a game in the back-to-back in the first 2. And then I genuinely think
Then they win game 5. Yeah.
I don't even think I think they win in 6, so I think they win the 3 at home, and then they win 1 on the road to split the series to go into it. So I get it. I get it. It's like Carolina losing Slavin. It's going to be a mountain to climb. But if Carolina had McDavid and Draisaitl, I'd still be betting Carolina. So, like,
Yeah.
like at the
They're
end of
gonna
the
have to
day,
outscore them.
Yeah, they're gonna
Or
have to
just
outscore them. That's for
they're
damn
gonna have
sure.
to score 5, 6, 7 in a game.
and
So
that's what they're
Yeah.
gonna do.
as long as Kemper plays the worst hockey we've ever seen, Oilers are winning the series. If Kemper doesn't show up, the Oilers win because they'll tear him up. They'll score 8 in a game if they have to. So
Yeah.
I,
I could see that.
I don't even think it's about even if Kemper plays the best he can play, they're still going to score 5. It's the best player in the world. He scores whenever he wants to. And again, I know he hasn't played that well this year, but this is different. This is a new season. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Guys that had great regular seasons don't always have great playoffs, and guys that had terrible regular seasons are the heroes in playoffs. It's the best player in the world. I'm not betting against them. I'm taking Edmonton in 6.
All right. Well, we'll see. So playoffs start today. Opening series. I think we got St. Louis Jets and Colorado Dallas.
St. Louis Jets at 6, Colorado Dallas at 8:30.
Yeah. So and for us, the Canes will puck drop tomorrow at 3:00 at Lenovo Center. So we'll see. Game 1. Here we go. So it's exciting time of the year, and so we'll. Unless you guys want to take one last kick at the can with final comments, we'll close it for the week and we'll head out, get our Saturday going, and get tuned in for some playoff hockey.
Yes, sir. I'm ready. I'm good.
All right.
I'm good too.
Well, until next week, guys, we'll see how the playoffs go. We'll see if who is right, who's on the rails, and who's off the rails as far as their prediction goes next week. But until then, we appreciate you guys for hanging in there with us. And if you like, subscribe, send it, share, do whatever you need to get us out there, and so we can keep doing this. So we appreciate you, and have a great weekend, and happy Easter to everybody.